Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Streaming December 12th on Peacock. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are back
That's hot. Loves it.
for a show-stopping reunion that will prove putting on an opera is anything but simple.
We're really good at this.
One thing's for sure, they won't be upstaged.
Good to have you back. Come on, we've got a show to do.
Paris and Nicole, The Encore, a 3-part reunion special, streaming December 12th, only on Peacock.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what Leslie's about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Hang Out, the podcast where we're just proud to be you and me, Ellie.
So proud.
So proud,
So
full of pride. From the West Coast, I'm Lee Holmes Foster.
And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida. To those of you who have been with us through this whole journey, thank you as always for listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. And here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. And this week is Spirit Week. We are so excited because today is Snapback Day. So we want to see you all in your snapbacks. Post those pictures on social media. Use the hashtag LHO Spirit Week so we can see those pictures super easily. Wear your snapbacks. Tomorrow is Dapper Day. Wednesday is Pajama Day. Thursday is Cosplay Day, and Friday is Flag Day. So if you didn't join today, you have 4 more opportunities. Pick your favorite day, and we'd love to see your outfits.
And we are closing in on the end of season 5 coming up soon. We have a couple episodes left, but we just want to remind you we will be taking a brief hiatus for a few weeks over the summer. And during that time, we will be working on our next musical, but also getting ready for our live show of the Songs of the Flame in New York City on September 15th at 54 Below. And you can get your tickets now, and we cannot wait to see you there. In the Greater Les universe, we also want to talk about the Motherland Fort Salem trailer that came out. Listen, I'm not ready to say goodbye to this show. You know we never will be.
No, we never will be.
But we just want to take a minute to... Can we talk about like that real quick double wedding situation that's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
is it real?
To be
is it
fair,
a dream?
It could only be one for me, but it's fine.
But inquiring minds need to know what's happening.
Yes.
Also, I'm here for like the whole group hug situation between all 4 of the girls, and they're like, I'm dying. I'm into it. So, anyways, we're very excited.
I'm excited to see where it
goes. It's coming
goes.
back. I think tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think from when the episode airs. I think it comes back on the 21st. So,
oh my gosh, that's so
I know.
exciting. Everyone has so much to look forward to tomorrow. I'm excited for all of you and for us. So, in my Google search of gay news, I found this article called How to Get Gay Famous that was posted on Slate. And I sort of loved it, so I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. And it was just talking about how, like, because we know gay famous is different than mainstream famous, right? Like, famous amongst the gays. But there's also been a lot of, like, shifting of it. So I thought it was just a really interesting take on it of, like, okay, like, being gay famous is about one's ability, it says, this is a quote, about one's ability to influence and support queer culture and prevent a novel version of gayness, which I like. But then it also was talking about how, like, these gay celebrities, like, have, in the age of social media, are, like, getting famous enough that they're, like, feeling some of the pressures of fame, but, like, aren't being rewarded as much as the mainstream celebrities in terms of, like, financial success and stability. So it's just, like, navigating that. I thought it was a really cool article. So if you want to check it out on Slate.
Excellent. Finally, this week, and today especially, I feel like I need to do a quick shout out to me and Kelsey.
Yes.
on our 11th wedding anniversary.
Oh my
so
God.
Congrats
Congrats
to
to you.
Yes.
That's huge.
A+ work. Thanks for putting up with me for this long. I appreciate it. Don't get sick of me. Thanks, love. Okay, great.
Oh, so sweet. Let's have a moment of silence for that beautiful moment.
Is that what we do? A moment of silence? That feels really celebratory.
I don't know. I just feel emotional. All right, fine. Yay!
Ellie's like, I'm trying not to cry. Just
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
it.
so-
Okay.
That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Lee.
Thanks, Ellie and Lee. We are so excited to bring you episode 21 of season 5, Pride Fruit.
Do you get it, listeners?
Do you get it?
Lee was trying to come up with a million different puns for pride, and the
They're all
best we
bad.
could come up with was dried fruit, pride fruit. So here we are. It's been a long day for both of us, but we are so happy to be here.
We're going to keep it together.
talking to
We're
each
gonna
other and
make a
to you.
podcast episode.
We got this. We got
And,
this.
and if Ellie and I go off the rails, it's just,
It's
listen.
just how it is, and that's
It's
okay.
just what we're gonna get. We're closing in on the end of season 5. We're doing great.
We are.
We've gotten this far, Ellie.
Yes.
We can do this.
So today we're going to talk about Pride because it's Pride Month, and we're gay.
And it's been a while. We haven't done a Pride episode in a long time.
Yes,
we were
we-
just trying
yeah.
to remember, like, where did we last talk about Pride? And I think it was season 1.
Yeah, in 2018 was the last time we talked about Pride. So we figured a lot of stuff's been going on since 2018 with the two of us and with the entire world
Yeah, there's
Just
just
a
been
few things
one
have
or two things.
since that year. So we figured we'd talk about what's been going on for us with Pride and how sort of Pride has shifted as we get older, as the world shifts and changes. I mean,
Gets on fire. You know.
when were Pride parades canceled? Do you know what I mean? Like it was 2 or 3 years we didn't have Pride.
Question? I don't know. I haven't left my house in 2 years.
Right?
Ellie.
Like when's the last time you've been to a Pride parade?
The last time I went to Pride was when you and I went to Pride together in Boston
2019.
in 2019. That was my last in-person Pride event. And then we did 2 years of Porch Pride,
Yes.
right? So we've had at least 2 years of Porch Prides.
True.
And then now this is the third pandemic Pride.
Yep. So the last Pride that we did as a civilization, we did together.
Good for us.
I know.
Hooray.
At least we have that.
I love to have special memories with you.
I
you
know. We didn't even know. We were just
I
like
know.
dancing and hugging
We were
and taking
carefree.
cute pictures.
Just
I like-
breathing air around each other's
Yeah.
faces.
Craziness. I mean, we very rarely get to see each other in person. So I feel like
No.
that was a really nice Pride because I got to see
It was
you.
a nice Pride.
And
I
then,
was
yeah.
just looking. I'll be honest. I was just looking for something. I couldn't remember what it was, but I ended up going back through. You know when you did your 30 days leading up to your 30th
Yes.
birthday, and you had that post, and we had all the videos and stuff of us, and there were some of us at Pride there, and I was like, oh, remember
Aw.
that?
I know. I also feel like that was 2019 we had our live show in Boston at WBUR City Space. And so
Yep.
that's why you were you were there for a wedding and we ended up like making as much happen
Wrapping in
during that
yeah,
weekend
just-
as we could.
We got to take advantage of when we are in the
When
same
we're
location.
even close. We're like, all right,
I know.
let's make it work. It's also just like crushed dreams, but now I'm like, it's fine. But I wanted to talk a little bit about like what our dreams were for Pride because I feel like that Pride, I at least was like, oh my God, like next year, what if like we did like even more for Pride and like me and you were
Yeah.
like in the parade or like we were like hosting at an event or something. Like we're grand marshaling
Doing another.
the freaking
We
thing.
definitely talked about doing more live shows. Like
Yeah.
we wanted to do another live show the next year. Yeah, yeah. Grand Marshal, you and I, Grand Marshal.
yeah, like literally
taking over the world.
But I mean, let's talk a little bit about how things have shifted. Because then we shifted into Porch Pride, and I do feel like I personally loved Porch Pride, and I'm glad that we
I did too.
made the best of it. This year we're not going to be hosting Porch Pride, and it's just because it was a lot of planning for us, and we have been very overwhelmed this year. But who knows? Maybe next year we'll host it again. Because I also think like it was a cool pandemic thing because people could get together safely with a small group of people. But I also think even outside of the pandemic, those are the types of pride events that I enjoy the most anyways. Like going to someone's house, hanging in their backyard, being around other people who are also queer, but like not having like I almost feel like the parades are for very newly out queers, which is totally fine. Honestly, I think it's so exciting when you're newly out and you're like, holy shit, this is all for us. Like, you deserve to have those experiences. But I also think, like, once you're more established, once you've like found those people who you like and you want to spend time with, pride ends up being just like a bunch of young gays who love them, and then like straight people who like
Yeah.
want to
Yeah,
pretend they're a part of everything.
At the allies.
Yeah, which
They're allies.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But-
No, absolutely. And that's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I still like, you know what's funny is like I do feel like pride like there's these it's a roller coaster, right? There's these cycles I feel like over the course of people's like coming out journeys, like where you are kind of in life, like how many prides you've gone to, like what prides you go to, because that's the other thing is like I'll be honest, I can't tell. It's really hard for me to tell the separation between just like getting older and like having a family and less time and being tired all the
Yep.
time, and how that also overlaps with the fact that like we moved out to the Bay Area, and like I'll be honest, like Boston Pride and San Francisco Pride are like vastly different things. Right? Like it's I mean I think we'll talk a little bit about like some of the ways in which it's different out here, but I just feel like it's always been a little harder for me to like get super excited for it out here. Like the first year Kelsey and I moved out here, it was the pride that was hot on the heels of the DOMA repeal, and that year was like super exciting, and like just being there for it felt like so cool, and just like so like everyone felt so connected, and like but then beyond that, like the other years that I've gone out here, it's just been kind of like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think it's sort of that way about parades in general. Like, what other parades have you been to that you've like really enjoyed? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's a hard question because most of the stuff that I have done, like, I mean, Kelsey and I have been together for an awful long time, and like she hates crowds, like hates it. So there's like always kind of a balance of like what's something that she would enjoy that isn't going to be like overrun with people. I will say it's not a parade. But
Okay,
I think it's like it's not a parade, but it's the only like similar event that I do think that we like enjoy. It was like Marathon Monday in Boston. You know, it's because it's like it's still crowded and it's like there's still just like people everywhere. But it's like a similar, you're just like, this is the day, we're all celebrating the day. And it's like, because it's so much more spread out too, you know, because you have like 26 fucking miles to spread out over. But it's like, that's the kind of event that like, you know, like Kelsey will go to, but they're just not, it's not her thing, you know? And so there's a little bit of a balance. I do want to try Oakland Pride. Oakland Pride happens at a different time of the year. I think it's in like October, and I've never gone to that out here. And I feel like it's going to be smaller and like might be more of that type of event that I'm hoping for than San Francisco Pride ends up being all the time.
I think too, like, because I've done a lot of different prides. Well, maybe not a lot of different prides, but mostly like Boston and New York. And New York Pride is like so overwhelming. But the thing that I love about New York Pride is like also it's like the parade. Like you want to go for like a minute to be like, I'm here and this is cool. But it's really the events throughout the weekend. Like the rooftop parties and like, you know, that like I went for World Pride, which was, when was that? It must have been the same year that we went to Boston Pride, 2019. And that was crazy because it was like everyone was in New York City for that weekend. So it just felt like there's like an electric feeling of like, the entire city of New York is like celebrating everyone being gay. But like parades in general, I feel like it's not necessarily the parade. It's like the parties surrounding it. It's the community that you find like when you're there. Like St. Patrick's Day in Boston is like, I don't know the last time I've like watched the St. Patrick's Day parade, but like I always go to my mom's friend's Trish's house. Everyone knows Trish from episode 1. Gotta tell Trish. But we'll always go there. And it's like, it's just like a celebration of being Irish, but I feel like it's like so much of just like we're celebrating because we're Bostonians. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very like hardcore Boston thing.
And Boston goes hard on St. Patrick's Day. It's that the St. Patrick's Day Boston parade is Kelsey's legit nightmare because it's like not just crowds, it's like crowds of drunk people.
Oh yeah,
and
they're so bad.
And she has a phobia of people vomiting, and so it is a bad situation all around to try to leave our house on St. Patrick's Day.
No,
when we
they're
lived in
so
Boston.
bad. They're so bad.
It's real bad. It's also like I think the last St. Patrick's Day, the last time we tried to go to the St. Patrick's Day parade, like I literally ended up on the tee, like trying to protect some woman's like baby in a stroller, because there's like 3 or 4 of us who are kind of like all just like arms over this kid pushing against the opposite wall because there's so many people. Like it's bonkers when you get on the train, and so there's just like the push of bodies where you're like, we're going to squash this small child, and like
yeah,
so that was fun, just good times.
It is too much. It's a
little much.
But yeah, I think it just depends on like who you're with and like exactly what you're doing.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say, is that it's like I feel like now, because it's just occurring to me now that we're talking about this, that since 2019 was the last year I went to Pride, and we had Eloise, Kelsey was pregnant with Audrey, I was out in Boston that year for the wedding and for our show, and it's occurring to me that then since then, it's been a pandemic, we have never brought the girls to a Pride ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? As much as I'm like, I feel like there are a lot of ways in which I'm like kind of over certain parts of like the kind of early years that you go to Pride, and like some of that magic is going to be lost, like, and that's fine. But there is something that like, as I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, oh, I want to like get the girls little like Pride shirts and like little rainbow tops
and
like
put them
bring
on your
them to
shoulder.
Pride
Well, I
and
don't
put
know
them
how
on my
they're
shoulders,
too big to put on your
and,
shoulders
like,
now.
They're heavy these days, but like I will work it out for fucking Pride.
Yeah.
Like I want to take them because I do think that it's like, like we are trying to like normalize as much as we can, like, and like not have it be like, it's not like a thing so far yet to them that they have 2 moms, but like I also want them to grow up and like have that context of like queer community and like see the queer joy at like Pride and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, I want to bring them. I want to take them to Pride.
Well, you got to check out Oakland Pride. I bet you they have like a family day even too.
Yeah, I bet they do. Like, I bet both San Francisco and Oakland have like family-based events and stuff like that. And I just feel like
it'd
that'd
be really nice.
Fun. Because they're not going to get it at all. It's going to be like so funny to try to explain to them right now, to be like, well, see.
Well, okay, so I have a question for you that's controversial.
Okay, do it.
But, when we talk about, like, don't say gay and blah, 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 right? Basically, okay, like, I was in the Provincetown Carnival Parade when I was 8 years old. I think I said this to everyone in the Pride thing. And there are men there in assless chaps, like, BDSM floats, like, very intensely sexual things in the parade.
I'm all for it.
How do you feel about that with your children?
I'm all for it. Listen, here's the thing. I understand that, like, I mean, sure, we're raising our kids to, like, speak French and stuff, but, like, there are a lot of things that I kind of would love to adopt a slightly more European mentality as opposed to, like, puritanical US views of stuff, where it's, like, nudity is not an issue for me in terms of our kids, honestly. Like, that doesn't phase me, because it's like the same way that I'm like, would I bring them to like a public pool in France where like half the people are gonna be topless? Like, yeah, who fucking cares? Like, they see us topless or naked all the time. Like, this is not a big problem in my life. And I think that, to me, those are like great opportunities to just like have age-appropriate conversations about, like, what Pride is and, like, what, if someone's, like, walking around in assless chaps, dude, like, that's just not really a thing. As they get older, like, do you want to have more conversations about some of this stuff that's happening and, like, why people feel free to let loose at Pride? Like, sure, whatever. But right now, like, they're just bodies. Like they're not weird about bodies right now, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I don't know. Personally, I don't super have a problem with it. I
was
get
just
I
curious,
get people fall
'cause-
everywhere on the spectrum on this. I
Yeah.
get it. But it's just like yeah, I don't know. They're just bodies. It's a good opportunity to talk about bodies. We talk about bodies a lot anyways, you know, because
Yeah.
it's like we're kind of still trying. I mean, they're so young. So it's like you're trying to normalize like language around our bodies. You're trying to normalize like they're like just starting to kind of like grasp that are like different types of bodies and genitals and stuff. And so it's like, you know, you're trying to also normalize like the language around them and normalize like, yeah, like you pee sitting down, like people with vulvas pee sitting down and like trying to like distance like gender from genitalia and stuff like that. Like we have those conversations all the time. So I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. They're just more bodies to use those examples. That's cool. It's fine.
Nice. I was just curious because I'm like, I remember that nobody had a conversation with me about bodies. I just was on the float and was like, that's that. Men are,
You're like, there's a lot of
there's
naked
a
people.
lot of
Yeah.
naked men. That's burned into my brain forever.
We'll find out when Kelsey listens to this episode if she feels the same.
Yeah.
You know?
But like it just I don't know. But that's also what I find so exciting but like fascinating about Pride is that like Carnival in P-Town is not technically Pride, but like they have a huge parade and it is like bigger than Pride in P-Town. And like I was on like a float with a bunch of dogs from the dog cafe in town. And then there's like a float for like the place where all the bears go to like have BDSM sex and they're just like
Yeah.
and I'm just
Yeah,
like yeah like just like throwing beads out into the audience and like same thing like with drag queens and stuff like that. Like went to drag shows when I was like 6 or 7 years old and then like saw them out of drag after and then had to like have those conversations. But I think it's good to expose your kids to those things early on so like they're not uncomfortable with them.
Yeah, and so they're just not things.
Yeah, it's
like
just
that's
like-
the thing. Is like
yeah.
they're not things then, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's so many things in the US where we're just like, well, this is like a real big deal. And you're like, actually,
It's
nowhere
not.
else like it's just not a thing. Like bodies are bodies and like that's okay. Like
Yep.
and especially because so much of the stuff that it's like, especially like, okay, listen, I don't want to get distracted into a huge like kink discourse because we've done it, it's all been done. We do this every year. I get it, but it's like we talk about these things as though kids have a context to put any of this in, and like they
don't.
fucking don't. Dude.
Yeah.
They just don't. Like your kid is not looking at somebody in a dog collar and being like, wow, that person likes to have a certain type of sex. Like, no, dude. No, your kid is like, that's a nice necklace. And you're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a nice necklace. Good for them. Like,
and they're like, can I wear it?
yeah.
Like, can I have your
Like,
necklace,
it's
sir?
just, they don't, there's nothing there. Like,
Yeah.
it's only there if you make it a weird thing. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm super excited at the idea of like bringing them to Pride and like, sure, family events, just because like, I think they'll get bored at a parade, honestly.
Yeah.
But also just to like go and like start also introducing the idea of like, hey, there are ways in which like families like ours are special and we get this fun party and like
Yeah.
that's cool and fun and like unique for us and it's just for us and like silly straight people don't get it. Bahaha.
I mean, I know you haven't gone to a Pride parade, but like, have you done anything for Pride Month with the girls? Like, even just like at home?
I mean, I've done like some of the, you know, like we've done like some photos for like Spirit Week and stuff with the girls and stuff.
Yeah.
But
They don't
it's
get
hard.
that
They
it's,
don't.
like,
yeah,
yeah.
they've been so young, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of the first year where it feels like they would be old enough to like go to something, you know.
Yeah.
So no, not a ton. But it's also like it is just funny because there's some of those things where I'm like, I don't even know how to try to explain this to you because so far the idea that like it's weird to have two moms like has never really
Occurred to
come
you, and
up
like you
as a
also don't,
concept.
and you also don't
like,
want
yeah.
to like have them
Right,
think it's weird.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think we'll have to, you know, as they get older, I think we'll have to figure out how we start navigating that. But
Yeah.
I feel like Pride would be like a fun introduction
It would be fun.
to like.
I have a friend Taylor who has two. Well, she has two moms, and then they got divorced, so now she has 4 moms, which
Living the dream.
Love that. double
Can I tell
the
you? Sorry.
moms.
Can I tell you? I'm just going to interrupt to tell you the cutest story, which is that we do tell the girls all the time that, like, you know, because every time they ask, sometimes where they're like, oh, like, does this person have like a mom and dad? And we're like, yeah. And then we're always like, and you have 2 moms, like, aren't you so lucky? And we took the girls to, there's like this little like farm where you can like go and like feed the animals and stuff, whatever, up in the hills behind us. And we took them there one day, and we were walking with Eloise, and there was this family walking towards us that was there with, you know, it must have been like a mom and her sister and like maybe her mom. Like, I don't know. They just had like this little kid walking with like 3 women with him. And Eloise looks at him and she was like, Mommy, that little kid has 3 mommies. He's even luckier than we are.
Oh my God.
And I was like, that is the best take I have ever heard in my life. So 4 moms. It's the luckiest.
So
just great.
lucky.
Doing great.
Seriously. But I feel like that was her experience where she went to Pride so often. One of her moms is actually a DJ, so she would like DJ all kinds of Pride events. And she is like one of the most like free human beings ever. Like in a great way. Just of like, I think it definitely does like give you less of a, coming from myself who was raised Catholic, very much the
different
opposite
just
of
a little different.
Yeah. Of like a much like easier time. Easier is maybe not the right word, but you know what I mean. Not as much conflict internally about sexuality, which I think is great. Goddamn Catholicism.
In today's episode of Let's Hang Out, we're going to unpack some trauma.
We're gonna unpack some shit.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed, just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, let's not. Let's just.
But it's okay. But let's talk. Okay. I wanted to talk about in this Pride episode because the last time we did Pride was 2019 together.
Mhm.
Since then, I actually think I went to New York Pride last year. So I did start going back to Pride events. And it was like a different feeling
Mhm.
because, I mean, in many ways, right? Number one, like, I didn't go to the parade at all because I didn't want to. We went to a rooftop party, and I just feel like everyone was 25,000 times more happy to be at Pride because it was like to understand what life was like without it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm saying like, oh, I'm over some of this stuff, but like I'm not over like taking a breath. Like I think for all of us too, it's like the older we get, the busier we get, the crazier life gets. And you're like on June 1st this year, to be honest, I was like, oh, it's Pride. You know, like, because I'm like, oh, I have so much shit going on. But I feel like sitting down, going to an event that like really puts in front of your face, like, look at all of these people who are celebrating our community, like, gives you a moment of pause to really appreciate all of the things that we've all been through collectively.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just like, so like, I don't think there's like, I think there always will be a place for those collective events, like for wherever you are.
The thing is like you forget, right? Because it's like we talked the last time we did a Pride episode, all those years ago. We talked about like your first Pride, right? And like everybody remembers their first Pride. And can I tell you the stupidest thing?
Yes.
This is, listen, we can't keep it together. This episode is going to be okay. You'll appreciate how insane this story is, but I just have to tell it anyways, because I think I mentioned so we have meetings for the musical we're working on every week. And I think I mentioned in our meeting this week that I had been reading this kind of bonkers Wilds fan fiction.
Oh my God.
Yes, this is where we're going right now. But okay, it was super cute. Yes, it was Shelby and Tony. Get off my back, everybody. But it included this like really, I did not expect to like get super emotional reading this fan fiction, and it included this scene, and it's like little Texas conservative Christian family household, Shelby, good kind, going to her first Pride when she's like trying to accept herself, and she's painting the rainbows on her cheeks, and she's got little rainbow earrings in, and she just like goes to Pride and is surrounded by people who are like happy for her dating a girl, and it was like, you know, and it's like it's fan fiction, so you're like getting her whole like thought process about it and just like how much it meant to her, and I was like, oh, like you forget that, you know, like you, and I was surprised. I was like, oh, I'm like getting a little choked up about like that like first Pride experience where it's like that first time where you go and you're like, my people, you know, and you're like, this is me and it's okay. And there's like all these other people and it's them too. And you're just like, and I was like, oh, like you don't ever get that back, you know? And I feel like that's what you're describing is what it reminds me of is like,
exactly. It was like, okay, now
recapturing
I've
some of
gotten
that.
it sort of back. Yeah. Cause it was like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is so, it felt like just like revisiting First Pride for sure. Because for everyone, it felt like the first Pride in a new way.
And your first Pride is like, there's nothing like it. Like, there's nothing like it.
There's
there
just like
just
a laser beam,
you know?
too. Like, there's something about, especially for people who don't get acceptance from the people closest to them. There is something so powerful about that, like, collective, like, rainbow beam of acceptance, right? Like, where it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's why it's so interesting to me to think about taking the girls there, because it's like, I feel like for so many of us, the reason that first Pride is so important is because it is hard, like, regardless of your upbringing, your journey, your coming out story, like, whatever, I just feel like, especially at a certain age, like, I'm hoping that this is actually maybe starting to change, like, in younger generations, but I feel like so many of us, there is still a certain amount of, like, internalized shame when you first come out. You know, and like stuff that you have to unpack, stuff that you have to work around or like work through. And I think that like you go to your first Pride and it is that like being slapped in the face with just like queer joy. And it is like the antithesis of shame and of hiding. And it's just like that light and like the amount that it just like lifts everything off of you that first time, you know, where you're just like, wow, like what?
I'm gay and it's great.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like now, like, it's so much easier. I get, like, I wonder if that's, like, part of why it's less magical now, you know? Because realistically, like, now, like, we've just been at a place in our lives, both you and I think, for such a long time, where we're just like, I fucking love being gay. It's the fucking best. Like, wouldn't trade it for literally anything. Like, ew, straight people, why? Why would I want to be that?
That's
and
why,
it's
like,
just
I
like...
literally have a part in this outline that says Pride all year long. Because it's like, I do feel like I created that world around myself where I'm like, I have very few people around me that are not queer. And if they are straight, like they are still that like intense beacon of acceptance. Like I would not have a straight human being around me who like has any sort of homophobia inside of them. Like I have pushed that all out of my life and like surrounded myself with Pride every day, basically. Like which is like literally how I think we should all live, or if we can. I know it's not easy for everyone, but like it just makes life so much easier. Like so much easier.
Well, and it does take a little bit of the magic away, right? Because it's like I feel like it's less of the case now. Well, I mean, sure, like Pride, you know. Listen, we all know like Pride was a riot. Like it is a different event now. And I feel like it's not that Pride is not radical still. Like it is. It is. It's just I think the contrast changes as you start to like have your life be that more, you know?
Yep.
Where like so much of our like who we are and like what our lives are is just like being as gay as possible and like living our best gay lives all the time. And I'm like, I'm always living my best gay life. Like it's not just at Pride anymore. It's not like you go to Pride and be like, this is me and it's okay. It's like that's like
every day. Yeah.
This is us, and we think we're pretty okay.
Yep.
Like, you know, we're kind of okay with us. Like,
what I'm curious, what are your plans for Pride this year?
I literally don't even know. I haven't even looked anything up. I'm so tired.
I know. Well,
I'm so
at
tired
least for Let's
right
Hang
now.
Out, we're going to be doing Spirit Week, which I
Yes,
also really
we're
like.
doing Spirit Week. I am very excited for it.
In the way
I
that,
feel
like,
like last year
yeah.
I missed a lot of Spirit Week. It was
We got to get back on the
busy.
horse.
I know we had everything going on with the musical last year, and the girls were younger, and it was just.
But
there
yeah,
was a
we got to
lot.
really do up Spirit Week and just like remind ourselves every day of that week, which is June 20th, how gay we are. This episode's actually coming out the Monday of Spirit Week. So,
Which is the 20th, and it's my anniversary.
oh, gay,
Yay.
gay, gay. I also I'm missing Boston Pride this year, which is the first time in a while that I won't be in Boston for Pride. But I'm going to Barcelona with all of my queer friends. We have 12 of us. And we're going to just like go to a music festival and be gay. So like
Incredible.
to me, that is Pride.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
like doing something really fun with all my gay friends. I'm taking the whole week off of work and not worrying about that, which is why I'm stressed as hell right now. But by the time I'm there, things will be wrapped up. But yeah, it's like that. Those are like the Pride events for me, right? Like getting to go to Greece with all my friends for 2 of my friends' gay weddings, like
Yeah.
on Sunday, we're having a little like get together in someone's backyard. And we're like, it's open invite to like any queer people. So it's like even new gays will be there. So I don't know. For me, it's just like figuring out when to make time for my queer friends now that I am so busy, which I always have been busy, but you know what I mean.
I don't know. You never have anything going on, Ellie.
Never. I don't know how I managed to give myself more to do.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked up like when SF Pride is. It must be coming up pretty soon, but like I don't know. I mean, I like alluded to it a little earlier on, and it's like I feel like SF Pride for me is just it's super corporate. Like I don't know if people have gone, and it's not like the parade especially, I think like more so than a lot of the rest of it. It's just this area is I mean, it's like tech central.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you go to Pride and it's like, okay, it's Pride. Here is the 800 people walking for Google and Salesforce and like just all in their like
rainbow
corporate
shirts, yeah.
branded shirts, and you're just like, yeah. I mean, I get it, but it's like it feels different.
Yeah. I also
feels different.
I also would like to say, I don't know, I'm sure there are people listening in Boston. I definitely didn't go to Boston Pride last year, but like I actually think Boston Pride didn't happen. And this like ties in a lot with corporate things as well. Like literally like Boston Pride turned into something that was like not even for the queer community. It was like exploiting the queer community for this parade to the point where they literally got shut down because they were like being racist, being homophobic, like horrible things because of corporations, right? And I think that there was actually like a separate Pride event that was created like outside of official Boston Pride to like counteract that. But I feel like that like there is a bit of a reckoning for corporate pride that I think needs to happen.
Oh, I mean, because it's just so tiring,
like,
where
it's just like, no. Like, and the fact that as a podcast too, we know this happens like every June.
Oh yeah.
Corporations are like, hey, we want to give you money, right? And to be fair,
not a lot, just like a little bit of
just
it.
a little bit, just to like ease our guilt about
just
like,
enough that you'll say how great we are.
Yeah. Besides, I will say, Barefoot puts their money where their mouth is, so I don't want to.
Yeah, they've been great.
Honestly, they gave us money for Porch Pride, and they like have a lot of stuff that they do year round, and they have a lot of LGBTQ employees. So I don't want people to assume who we're talking about, but it's just like corporations in general, right? Where it's just like, okay, so we get your money in June, and then like you forget about us.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Like I think it's like far more impactful for corporations to like spread their money out over the year for LGBTQ people, like instead of like, okay, yeah, we're gonna march in one parade. Like it's lip service.
It is, and it's also like, I mean, this is what I think it's funny is like, you know, when you were asking before of like, how do we feel about like kinky stuff at Pride or like whatever if we were gonna bring the girls, and I'm like, listen, honestly, like I would much rather have a Pride with like 0 sales force than than like no kink, like because that would feel more authentic to me, because I'm like, actually, if you told me like, hey, here is a Pride event, like corporations are banned, I'd be like, A fucking plus, like
seriously,
great, 10 out of 10 will be there, like that's actually what I want, versus all of this because it just doesn't feel real. And I think that's the thing, is like, to me, Pride is like being authentic. It is being your authentic self, and then you show up and it's just like fucking Google being like, we love the gays, and you're like, fuck out of here with that. Like,
also, where does the money go? Like, I think that was like such a question with Boston Pride, which is why I got canceled, of like, all right, be transparent about your budget. Like, you got all this money from corporations. Who's getting it?
Yeah.
Where is it going? Is it going back into our community? Is it going to the organizers?
Great question.
Right? Like, literally, where is the money going? And I need to know that. But yeah.
Is it going to pay the police to stand along the parade route for the entire day? Where is that money going? Yeah.
So, I mean, we could talk all day about, we've talked about our like, what is it? Like rainbow, rainbow economy. Also, like rainbow dollars going to rainbow people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels like I can't do it with, like, I would much rather go to like a Pride event that's been organized by a member of the community, that's like, especially as event organizers, we understand how much work goes into those events, like that you're literally like providing a service for our community to like connect and meet.
That's something else we had talked about doing. Remember when we were going to do a queer prom?
Oh, queer prom.
Oh, we were going to do that too. I was thinking we were going to do like a Pride prom.
I know.
Yeah, in LA. We had talked about that.
One day.
So many plans.
So many plans
derail.
I'm like, if there's anyone else, also, if this is a cry for help, if there's anyone out there who feels passionate about connecting the queer community and wants to help us with our events, we could definitely use some help, because we want to do so much more than we can.
We do want to do a lot of things.
We want to do so
much. But remember that we were going to talk. I feel like when we were at Pride in Boston in 2019, that's what we were talking about for like the next year, was like we were going to plan like a grassroots queer prom for LA Pride the next year.
It would have been great.
It would have been
one of these days.
We should reach out to Lauren and Nicole again, see if they're still in.
I know. Seriously, I'm in.
I'm in. I want to buy a new suit. That's a good excuse.
Oh my God.
I don't have a lot of excuses to buy new suits these days. Every time I tell Kelsey, she's like, what are you going to wear it to? And I'm like, you don't know. You don't know what I'll wear it to.
I told myself, and this is true, I will do it. The first like big commission I get, suit.
Dude, yes. Can we get new suits together? Can we get matching suits? Can we get like coordinating suits?
We're doing it.
We'll look so dope.
We're doing it.
Okay, let's get really awesome suits. And then let's like see each other's faces in person again, because it's been like almost a year and I hate it. And then we can do another photo shoot, because we don't ever have photos together.
Yes, let's do a suit photo shoot. We totally got derailed, but like not really.
Suit shoot. Sorry.
Suit shoot riot. Pride was a suit shoot riot.
I'm here for it. I'm sold.
Oh my God.
Okay.
But yeah, those are my thoughts on Pride. I still feel like it's very important for our community to come together and to take the time to like stop for a breather and remember, hey, let's come together. Let's remember what Pride is really about. It's about all of those who came before us, who fought for our rights. It's about coming together as a community and supporting each other. It's about celebrating our identity in ways that maybe we don't feel super comfortable doing year round. It still has a very big place. I think it's just like changing what type of Pride you celebrate.
Well, and I guess maybe what we can also do with that is like, I mean, listen, I know that we always have our little plugs to like, email us and DM us, and like please do that too. But like honestly, like what are things, that's what I'd love to know, is like where are people at? Like what are the kinds of things you want to have for Pride, you know? And like, because I mean, you know, listen, as much as we don't ever have more time on our hands, this is our jam. This is what Ellie and I want to do, is like we just want to make queer fun joy and stuff. So yeah, if you have like thoughts or ideas, or like you're like, you know what I wish existed for Pride, like please send us those. You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com, or like DM us anywhere. But like tell us that stuff, because you know us. You're gonna give Ellie an idea and she's just gonna be like, let's do it tomorrow.
I literally planned. We planned the first Porch Pride in like 2 weeks. That was psychotic. I was like, it's May.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We need to do something for Pride. Porch Pride coming up. Here we go. Yeah, it was crazy. But it's time for our Q and Gay. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Q and gay.
All right, question number 1. When was your first out Pride? A, the 70s. B, the 80s. C, the 90s. D, the aughts and the 10s.
Okay, my first out Pride must have been my sophomore year of high school, junior year of high school. So in the aughts. It was probably like 02, 03, something like that.
I think mine was
like 20 years ago. Maybe it's been 20 years since my first Pride,
crazy.
Ellie. Fuck.
That is crazy.
Fuck.
I'm pretty sure mine was in 2013. No, 2014. Yeah, 2014, New York Pride. Been going in the closet for a long time. I just love Pride. It's so weird. It's my
That's like
favorite time
asking
of
when was
year.
your first gay prom, and you're like, never, and also every
And
year.
everyone, yeah.
Okay, question 2. Have you ever been in a Pride parade? A, yes. B, no. C, not yet. I like the hopefulness of that
Right?
choice.
Like maybe soon.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm
Reach
going
for
to
the stars.
say yes, because I was in that Provincetown parade. It wasn't exactly Pride, but it was Pride. It was Pride. What about you, Lee?
Yeah, we used to go with the church we were in Boston. We used to be in the parade every year. That was why we had we were on the float that year that we got married, and we had the like getting gay married in 9 days sign. Good times. Good times.
All right, question number 3. How do you celebrate Pride? A, with a few friends. B, Pride Parade. C, spend all your money on the gays. Or D, take a trip.
Oh, geez. I feel like lately it's been spend all my money on the gays, but I did just order one of our new Pride shirts. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty excited for it.
With the,
little ice cream
cone?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
because
cute.
I made it and it's cute and I wanted one, so.
It is.
But yeah, I don't know.
adorable.
I feel like that's been a lot of like the past few years just because it's been hard to get out of the house and do stuff, so. Gotta switch it up.
For me, it's like, it's with a few friends, but also this year I'm taking a trip, so I'm excited about that. And I do like to travel for Pride. Like, I really want to hit more Prides. Like, this year my friend Rebecca's going to LA Pride, and I'm like, it's the same time we're in Barcelona. But, like,
Yeah.
I would go, like, try to do LA Pride. I really want to do Toronto Pride. A few years ago, we were trying to do Montreal Pride, and then, didn't work out. But I would love to, like, travel around to a few different Prides. Really
That would be
see.
fun.
Yeah, I just want to see, like, what the difference is between the spots.
Okay, question 4. What is the worst branded Pride item out of A, Levi's denim chaps, B, Marks & Spencer LGBT sandwich, lettuce, squash, bacon, and tomato sandwich, C, Gayo, gay mayo, rainbow mayo, Gayo, or D, DNC Pride gear, Democratic Pride gear.
Vote with Pride.
Vote with Pride.
I have to say the denim chaps crack
They offend
me
you so much.
I was saying this to Lee before, but I'm like, if you look at these Levi's denim chaps, they're assless chaps on Levi's website. They took them down probably because so many people were like, Levi, what the hell are you doing? But they have jean shorts underneath them. And my thing is, if you don't have the audacity to put those assless chaps up with an ass showing, you shouldn't have made them in the first place.
Show some D on your site, Levi's, is all we're saying.
Even if it was just from behind.
Yeah,
like,
show
just
a
show
little
the ass.
Show a little ass.
But, like,
come
you're
on.
literally, like, if there's a guy who's, like, looking behind.
Listen,
he's,
if it
like,
is
looking
Pride,
behind him sexily, like, oh, look it. And
with
we have
denim shorts
jeans,
underneath.
denim shorts with assless chaps. So, like, what is the point of this?
It's a horror. It's like an
so
assault
bad.
on everyone. But here's the thing. If it's Pride Month and you're not willing to put like an intro, you know, when you go on a page and they have that like, are you 18? You must be 18 plus to enter. Like, if you're afraid to put a click through so that you can show some fucking ass on
Don't do
your denim
it.
chaps for Pride, then like you don't support the gays.
Yep.
Levi's.
Levi's, you didn't do it right.
You know, this is homophobic. That's what that is.
Not right.
A hate crime.
All right. Question number 5. What's your favorite Pride weekend? A, LA. B, New York. C, Toronto. D, San Francisco.
Okay, I feel like this question is a little bit of a hate crime too, because I literally haven't done like any of the others except for San Francisco, and I can't say it's my favorite. But
That's
I guess
okay.
I'll
Did
say
you like
Boston
Boston?
for now.
Yeah.
I did like Boston.
I was going to throw Boston on there, but I don't know. Maybe I'll throw it on. But I was just like, these are the biggest ones, I feel like, in terms of the amount of people who attend them. For me, it's going to be New York out of those. Even though I do love Boston too, but New York has like such an energy. You can't miss it. And the parties are so good. Yeah.
Someday
You can't beat it.
I'll fly out. We'll do New York Pride together,
cannot
and we'll
beat
do a live show again.
Finally.
Yay!
Remember, you can also give us your own answers to this episode's Q&A questions on our Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from all of you, and we love continuing to build this community. So we just like to shout out some of our favorite things that we've heard from our listeners every episode. And this week, we want to shout out one of our listeners, Maggie, who reached out to us on Instagram, saying how much she loves the podcast. And we always love hearing that. It makes us so happy. But also with this incredible queer story of finding like a pride parade with a whole bunch of like protesters who were like protesting the parade, and how she like parked her car, got out, and like blasted, I think, Born This Way, and like
Classic.
danced in front of like the protesters, and just it was incredible. An incredible story, incredible moment. A+ work, Maggie. Love it.
Yes,
So,
I also
thank
would like
you
to
so
say,
much.
and to quote Maggie, it was danced my ass off.
Yes, precisely.
Wagged my tongue at them, shook my ass, and danced my tiny little queer heart out.
I love it.
Oh
It
my
just-
God,
it made
that
me
is
smile so
so
big
good.
reading it.
I
so.
love that so much. So yes, thank you so much for listening, Maggie, and you are incredible.
And as always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Jess Klaus,
Tanya Ferguson,
Jacqueline Rosacino,
Sarah and Julia,
Danny Gunluck Tamora,
Brittany Ray,
Alana Rosen,
Lizette Stye,
Stacy,
Adi Benitez,
Fiona W.,
Whitney Lennon,
Jennifer Trujillo,
and our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen,
Leah Henley,
Liz Chen,
Julia Gonzalez,
and Ashley White. Thank you all so much. We could not keep doing this podcast without all of you and all of our patrons. And you're all just the best.
the best. Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
Or check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
And you can check out our production company website at dollarbeanproductions.com.
Whatever app you use for podcasts, make sure you subscribe so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop.
And if you haven't listened to all the episodes of The Flame, they are all up. You can find them on any podcasting app, and make sure you're all caught up before our next musical comes out.
We're also posting videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/letshangoutpod to catch them.
If you want to help support the podcast, there are so many ways that you can do that. The first one is to leave us a rating and a review on the Apple Podcasts app. It's free and easy and helps new people find the show.
If you want to support us on Patreon and join our Patreon family, you can do that at bit.ly/lespatreon. We have a patron-only Discord chat. We'll be having Les Essentials watch party. Our next one is going to be for Hulu's Crush, so get in on that at bit.ly/lespatreon.
And if you want to help support us in making our queer podcast musicals, we have a Patreon just for that. Now that we have wrapped up our crowdfunding campaign, we're going to be really putting a little bit more time into posting some behind-the-scenes stuff, getting some sneak peeks at things for our Patreon supporters. You can find that at bit.ly/dollarbeanpatreon.
If you want to get some Let's Hang Out merch, you can get that at bit.ly/lesshop. Pride Month is the perfect time to get it.
If you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.